All right, yogis. So traditionally, our stronger power hatha yoga starts standing position. Okay. So let's stand up, guys. And when we start standing, we still do a moment of meditation here, yogis. All right. So I'm going to stand up nice and tall, roll the shoulders back and down. In biomechanics, when you're studying what we're trying to condition and train in the physical structure, remember that posture is number one. Posture is going to affect your job, your everything in your life, whether it's weights and running, sitting. We're always being aware of our posture no matter what we're doing. So let's start in that fundamental body awareness. You're trying to stand tall, active, but also relaxed, tuning into the more subtle aspects of how you hold your body up in space. And then you become more aware of the breath, a slow inhale. Remember, the first thing we're really trying to do in breathing is just breathe a little bit deeper than normal, slower than normal, in and out the nose. So you're not letting the breath go erratic, a lot more intention in the breathing. You know, I like to say intention in its most simple form is just knowing what you want to do, right? Knowing what you want. Physically, we're trying to stand taller. That's your physical first intention. And then breath intention is smooth, deep breathing. It's like, what is intention? Just clearly knowing what you want and stating that mentally, even verbally, so it's clear. There's no mixed messages. Intention, clear understanding and decision of what you want in many forms. I'm going to start you with it's a Kriya. It's from the Qigong. It's energy clearing, it's breath, it's movement. Okay. So I'm going to widen the feet here. I'm going to exhale. It's like a deadlift. Remember that deadlift is like first functional exercise after walking. Inhale, reach up, exhale. Okay. So you're kind of like in many energetic realms, you're scooping up energy, bringing it past the chakras, putting bad energy down back into the earth, inhaling. The prayer, the sacred mudra, is purifying the chakras. So it's this big swooping. It shouldn't be that difficult, yogis, okay? We're going to move for about the first 15 minutes of class, and then we're going to hold postures for the second 15 or 20, okay? Think stretching, think moving. You can bring your feet a little bit closer now. Try to make this, again, the balancing of the opposites, the analytical with the creative, the scientist with the artist. Don't tip the scales. It's good to be the rigid scientist sometimes, but it's also good to be the artist. There's no kind of analytic involved. It's just much more free. You're being so which way do you tend to? I tend to be a little bit more of the scientist. And a lot of days I'm just trying to be the artist, you know, in my practice, the dancer in the body. So some days you're kind of rigid and stiff, linear about it. And then some days you're kind of very just fluid and you're breaking the rules a little bit, okay? And guys, it's about like 20 to 40 of those, right? It's a good amount. Get the body pumping with the first squatting. And then we go into hinging, forward and back movements. It's called sun salutation. We haven't done it in a while. So now we'll get to our second movement. Good old sun salutations, many forms. If there's one that's calling to you, that's fine. I'll keep it simple. Step to the front of your mat. Let's take a nice inhale and reach our arms up. And exhale, now we hinge, reach for the toes. Inhale, half lift. High plank. Step back. I'm feeling pretty good. I'll add a few push-ups. Okay, I'm taking my first back bend. Everyone in here is a regular. You remember our gentle cobra, our cobra 2, or our up dog, right? Kind of the three main back bends down there. Down dog. First round, I'm going to take a few extra breaths, kind of loosen up my feet. So you're meeting down dog. You're still in kind of warm-up mode, moving in ways that feel good. Extra movements
on sticky, tight, tired days. Movement's going to increase blood flow, wake you up. But you're feeling good, yogis. A little bit more discipline in certain forms is back to that kind of analytical self. Okay, and then on your inhale, bend your knees, look forward. We're going to make our way to the front of our mat, stepping or hopping. Inhale, half lift.
Remember, this is our cat-cow right here, guys. As I inhale, half lift, you can see I take cow form. And then as I exhale, my spine rounds, chin tucks. That's my cat. Okay? Inhale, stand up, please. Reach it up. Find your posture for a moment, because that's our priority. And then inhale, reach it up again. Can we do like 3 rounds, 4 rounds on our own? Extra push-ups, adding anything that's, if you're feeling good, a little inversion already.
Yogis, remember that you're trying to remember on a good day, your practice is like a celebration. It's like an offering. There's no reason to hold back if you're having a really good day. I go right into handstand, headstand immediately, first position sometimes. Some days I'm holding child pose. The whole time the teacher says sun salutation. I'm honoring what my body's telling me. I'm being kind to it, reading the energy in the moment. How can you make this good for your body? But that doesn't mean always take it easy. Okay. Sun salutations. Everyone knows it. Get breathing and moving. Try to have some fun and do a little work.
Some things you can add as you forward fold. You can swing the arms up and over. You can add some extra hops forward or back.
Let me remind you the story of sun salutation. There was the famous yogi named Hanuman, and his guru, his teacher, was the sun, Surya, the sun god. And he wanted to give his guru something to say thank you, but he couldn't give him anything of earth. What can you give the sun of earth? Nothing, right? The only thing he could offer was a performance, an offering, and entertain him. So he started to do this dance. That's how the story starts. He started going up and down, bowing and then up, thank you, down. And then he started to add things, and he started to do sun salutations and add poses. And it became this beautiful prayer offering to someone he cared immensely and respected. And that's what you're practicing, yogis, this kind of offering of the heart and soul to remind yourself the blessing and the joy of life, not getting caught up in the daily drama that's out there right now, right? You're getting back to remembering your goals and what you're really working on in this life. And the story goes like this, Hanuman did every yoga pose possible, every movement, everything he could offer. And it was so beautiful that they say time stopped to watch Hanuman do this offering. Shiva, one of the main gods of the universe, started to dance with Hanuman. It was such a beautiful thing that everything kind of paused in the universe to see this occurring. So that's your story today in yoga, all right?
Can we keep going, guys? Let's meet downward dog. Now we're gonna try something today. You did your squats, you did your hinges. Let's get going with a lunge form. I'm gonna stay with movement. I want some, let's say, cardiovascular type exercise where you're breathing and moving a lot. I'm gonna show you, and then you're gonna have a go at it. The first part is your classic 3-legged dog. You can pulse the leg up. Let's get that glute firing, right? You can open the hip a little bit. What's your body calling for? Okay? The second part is that knee to forehead, the core work, getting the abs and the hip flexors going. I'm pulling the knee and I'm shifting forward. You can do this fast, you can do this slow. Different today, guys. Pigeon, right shin down. Okay? I am not going to forward fold here, guys. I'm going to lift the chest. I'm going to take a power stance in my pigeon, pressing the outer edge of my right foot and shin down, tucking my back toe, pulling the body back, lifting the heart. Okay? After a breath there, right leg goes back and up. There's the first side, second side, left leg goes high. I'm gonna pulse to make sure I get that butt turn up, okay? Left leg opens. That's gonna stretch that hip flexor, right? Shorten the glute back line more. Left knee forehead, and start to shorten the hip flexor, get the core going. You can see I'm even pulsing here. Left shin forward. Power, strong pigeon, treating it like a lunge today. You can see me, I'm feeling pretty good today. So I'm adding these like little movements kind of outside the line. If my knee was bothering me, I'd be more supported and sturdy, okay? Three-legged dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. It looks like this, yogis. You can do like a few extra core things. Main thing I'm looking for is strong body awareness and breathing. That right leg lift for the butt. Right knee come forward for the core hip flexor. Pigeon, outer body starting to work. You're feeling good, a little bit higher. Power pigeon today, guys. Right leg goes back and up for the butt. You can add vinyasas in if you still want those.
Get into it, yogis. Don't just do pigeon once and hold it static and stretch passive. Can you make it more of a dynamic thing today, which means like moving in and out of it, and a little bit more of an active form, strengthening your pigeon body, this lunge. You can, there's many things you can add. I'm going to keep it simple. Be creative. If you're having a good day, more of that kind of creative form. You know, I try to practice like this, guys, because I remember in my yoga days going to classes and I'm like, wow, I feel really strong, really flexible. But then the teacher's like doing beginner and, you know, kind of trapping you in a little box with the rest of the group saying you all have to do the same thing. And then there's days where like they, you know, you're not feeling good and they're like pushing you to do this strenuous stuff. And you're like, I want to exercise, I want to be here, but I need to really take it easy. So I made a decision a long time ago to honor the moment of the individual, try to encourage pushing you, but also try to encourage kindness, like in the same practice. I found that when I recognize when my body needs healing, it's tough though, because you get trapped in a long period where you kind of get lazy, let's say, and it's easy to skip strength because strength can be tough and difficult choice. But I found that when I healed my body when it needed it, I became so much more capable and feeling better about strength certain days. And I could really like push that strength on good days, okay? That's why I try to practice like this, you know? You're doing pigeons, right? Basically, you're trying to get to like 6-10 per side. Butt and core really firing. So I'm going to keep it going because I want to do like 3 more movements. I want to get our big twist going and our big lateral, even though this is a lateral for the outer hip and leg. It's not really lateral core. Okay. So we're going to meet back in down dog. Take a breath or 2 there. Just kind of neutralize. Some of you just look done there. So let's come back to down dog. Walk the feet to the front of the mat. Now I'm just going to bring you right to standing, okay? Let's do that lateral, and it's basically a second round of squat. Now, we did this in the beginning, and I want another solid go here, guys. The angled shape, it's really a lot of glute. You just did pigeon. They kind of go well together, all right? Because this is open in the lateral rotation. So let's find that nice wide angled chair, goddess throne pose, and get low, guys, all right? Try to press the outer edges of your feet down. And I'm just feeling out my space to start here, yogis.
All right. So it's the static in the legs, a little bit more still because you already did a lot of dynamics in the legs. Now let's get that upper body going. Inhale, get into your side body. But I want to keep you moving. Exhale. Inhale. If you want more, it's basically just more weight. Okay. Inhale, something like this. You're going to get more core tension and work here. A lot is here. Okay. Just like in side angle, we start here, okay? And then we're working on, maybe here, and then you're working here. It's the same type of pose. So we're really going big in the side body. Your active pigeons was pushing down, activating here, guys, right? This was all having to activate. Now you bring it up through here, got it? You're in that squat. Working those legs, yogis. You just moved them a lot. Now we're going lateral. Sometimes it's a little bit more energy and smooth and moving. Some days it's a little sturdier. Still, okay? Try to think of it like a plank in the legs. You're holding that plank in the legs. Minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes. This can be a lot on the back, right? Because you're turning this out and shortening all this space. All this space. And then you're squeezing there. Don't overbend.
You know it. Remember, Instagram yoga. Be careful doing that, okay? I'll warn you. I do that crazy stuff, and I'll tell you, that's what leads to the injuries. All the trying to become a contortionist in yoga. That really was never the goal. It was more to open up the energy pathways. As we practice a lot, you will just get more flexible. It's kind of a nice
side benefit. Think of a youthful body. It's very flexible. As you practice, we're rejuvenated. There you go. Next movement, guys. I want that pure twist. And then you get the nice counter with the legs. See how the feet go parallel? You take a little back bend just to kind of counter that tension. And then we're going to forward bend. I'll give you like 2 or 3 breaths, not here long. Just kind of forward folding. It would be a nice headstand, handstand opportunity, because really I'm having you hold inversion. We didn't really hold the inversion yet.
So we're going to go into that nice twist now. We haven't done it in quite a long time. It's a good one to remember. Rotation of the core, and it's a lot of shoulder work.
So I'm going to inhale, half lift. Some of you are doing things, you just catch up when you're ready. Look at my spine, guys. Nice and long. Got it? Inhale, right arm goes out and up. Exhale, right hand down. Notice I pause. Okay. Inhale. I can even pulse a little bit. I am pulling the belly in. Remember, this is a hinge. You just came from squat. Squat's weight in heels a little bit more than average. Hinge is weight in the toes a little bit more. So I don't want my butt way back, guys, like that. It's more here and kind of forward. Inhaling my arm up. I can even pulse. Super strong is something like this with my hands off of the floor. Weight into toes. You can micro bend the knees, yogis. You don't need to keep them locked. I'm rotating strong through the core. Pull the belly in, trying to turn with the core. You can do like full range too, like one side repetitive. As long as we're getting into a dynamic spinal torso rotational pattern.
Remember that your spine, right? It kind of moves forward and back, side to side. It rotates, and then let's call it like circling around like that. It's kind of like a complex form. And you know, when I'm creating some of these movements in sequence, that's how I think about it, right? Just kind of how do our joints, joints is where movement happens. So when you're studying movement, the joints is a good foundational kind of understanding, right? What are all the actions of the joints? It's a good way to kind of plan functional, well-rounded movement practices, okay? Can we slowly make our way up to standing, please? Hinging again, right into a static hold now. So I'm gonna meet you up here in the straddle. Look, I pivot my feet. Right hip back, engage your legs. We actually did this one on Thursday, if I remember correctly, but this is something I want you to get better at, a little bit sturdier here. Right hip back, right leg in front of me, yogis. Feet about hips width distance. 3 feet between the feet, right? Inhale, strong, sturdy legs. Exhale, back up. Come on now, work. Inhale. You can bend the knee, guys. That's called humble warrior. Exhale, back up, okay? Inhale. I'm reaching my arms back and up. It's kind of like having your hands on your hips, but more active. Getting the back shoulders turning on. Inhale. Reverse prayer is a nice one here. Notice I am pressing the big toes down, where the goddess was a little bit more pressing the outer edge of the feet down. This is kind of the opposite in the feet. That's not actually completely accurate, but it's a good general rule. Now listen, next time you hinge, bend your knee, right knee, pivot on the ball of your back foot. Here we go, guys. Warrior 3. Balance. For my people feeling good. T-squats, one-legged. You bend the knee a little bit and you straighten. You bend the knee, you straighten. If you're feeling really good, bend both knees, curl, cat, spine, hips, cow, cat, cow. A big kind of moving warrior practice. Last few. You can just hold warrior 3. I think holding is a better practice for a day feeling not as good. Nice. Somebody's even standing up. That's a nice little addition. Standing up with a knee in the chest. I like to see that, yogis. I like to see you having fun and expressing yourself in the practice. Be your own teacher, right? I mean, imagine you have to practice being your own instructor. Imagine there was no one to teach you. You know, all these tools you've learned and got from other people. You're creating your own practice daily. Okay, let's slowly land that foot down. A lot of you are done there. We're basically just going to go to the second side. So I was here. I'm going to pivot to my second side. Now my left leg is in front of me. Yogis, this was like really rotational. Okay, big bent knee, and then we came to this kind of symmetrical spinal. Now the spine, it was rotating, it was neutral, but the legs are kind of very rotated here. Asymmetrical. Right leg, right hip, left hip back, yogis. Go ahead, get into it. Inhale, exhale. So a dynamic pyramid work, not that hold and the static stretch. After this, we will be coming back down to the ground for some good old weight bearing on your arms. Now, next time you hinge, your pace, if this was my weaker side, I might do a few extra of those, and even take a rest between the 2 exercises so I can do them both well. I'm going to bend the left knee, pivot on the ball of the back foot, and start to go forward slowly into warrior 3. I'm not going to rush to any poses. I'm going to try to slow down my mind and body to feel every inch. And then I'll find myself eventually in a warrior 3. I might pause there for a moment. Remember, if your right leg is lifted, your right hip should drop down a little bit. And then I might start my warrior 3 squatting. I might notice my shoulders or neck are too tense. My back is arching or rounding. It all represents a self-study, yogis. More intention. Practice the body you desire. Do you really want a big arched back here? Practice. Do you want a rounded spine? You want 10 shoulders? You want strong legs that can move. Get into your Warrior 3 work today. Nice. So we did a good 4 positions or so standing up. And now I want to kind of switch gears. That tends to how I exercise. I kind of do like a leg thing or two. And then whether it's yoga or, more at weights or something, even if I'm like running stairs, I'll run stairs and I'll do some push-ups, kind of just switch where the energy in the body, not overstrain. Really good days, I might stay with legs, like 5 things in a row, but not really arms. So now I want to go into arms, yogis. All right. So let's come back to our standing position. It looks like a lot of you are done there. And that's what I want to see. Training until failure, fatigue, and you got to take a rest. All right. Let's step to the front of our mat. I want to give you a nice yogi squat, widen the feet, squeeze the butt, little lift, and then you go down. Skandasana could be a nice addition here. If you're ready, throw a little crow in, but I want to get into the arms. I'm going to do some dynamics into static. All right. Next position is down dog. If you'd like me to demonstrate, watch me quick here, guys. Putting a few of our arm yoga poses together now. Stuff you do, but done in a kind of different, challenging way. So I'm going to meet you here in high plank, and I'm going to work this transition today. Notice the knees bend. I'm going to go down to dolphin. Now we always hold these two. We're putting them together. I'm going to press back through my palms, shift forward, high plank. So the first movement's kind of like a dolphin, high plank. Dolphin, high plank. You notice I don't flop on my elbows. I resist in that negative, the fallen. Okay, and then I'm going to add a second part, guys. Side plank. I like to encourage you to move in and out of side plank some days, not just hold it. So I'm going slow. I can even get my little twisting plank in here quickly. Then I slowly turn my chest to the sky, back down, dolphin, high plank, twist plank, side plank, high plank, twist plank, side plank, twist plank, high plank, dolphin. Okay, does everyone see it? So for people not feeling up to it today, you work a high plank hold, you work a side plank hold, a dolphin hold. For people feeling good, think of it as working in between positions, transitions, movements, in and out of forms, not holding forms. If you want to hold handstand, that will fill all this. If you want to hold forearm stand or headstand, that is awesome. If you hold headstand like this, your shoulders will burn and scream. I just want to be clear, we're just kind of working arms and shoulders and core, and those all can work here. All right, there's no ideal practice, but giving you something a little different. You're really comfortable in side plank, down dog, and dolphin slightly. And then how can you put it together in a way where you have to think about it and be outside your comfort zone, okay? I'm going to give you another minute and a half. So what I want you to do is like fatigue, take a rest, and then have a second round, just like you would do any exercise. You do a couple sets. You do your reps until fatigue, and then you take a rest, 20, 30 seconds, and then you go again. If you have an inversion practice, this is a good time, yogis. Remember, yoga is very adequate for stretching, mobility, mindfulness, body awareness, arm strength. Leg strength is where we start to get into where yoga might be lacking. When I lift, it's basically like all legs. I don't really lift with my arms ever. Like, you can get adequate strength from body weight with your arms, but legs is a different story. It's also really not adequate for cardio. I've been trying to express this since we have some people showing up today. Yoga is really not adequate for cardiovascular exercise. If you get winded from yoga, it might be a sign your cardiovascular system is not in optimal form. I can do like really strong yoga classes, not really like lose my breath. I'll get muscle fatigue, but I don't really like get out of breath because I'm always working on being a smooth breather. We do want to remind you that, guys, it's good to go for a hike, go for a bike ride, go for a swim, something where you're moving your body and the heart rate, it's almost like you have to stop and breathe. Just a reminder, some holes in our practice. You lift weights once a week, twice a week. One of the best ways to get it all done at once is like walk upstairs. You're going to get leg strength, weight bearing, and cardio. And that's boom, that's going to change walking. I'm a big fan of going the stairs or walking up hills. So just a reminder, as one of your athletic, trainers, I want to remind you some of our things we're lacking in how you work with me. Okay. You're going to stretch too much in yoga. You're going to move enough in dynamic forms, little leg strength, little cardio, a day or two in the week, please. So you guys look done there, most of you. So I want to stay with kind of core, but I want to hit the back. So let's do it, guys. Let's lower down. And I in my own exercise, I do this like once or twice a week. It's part of hinging practice, but it's like the end range. So what are my beginners going to work on? You got back pain. It's very subtle. It's like lift up and hold, slight assist, slowly lower down. It's not hyper ranged. Lower back, okay? If you're feeling good though, it's legs and chest. Not overstraining. I'm getting into the pose. I'm not jamming into it. I'm making sure length is here. I'm not going up and back. I'm just kind of lifting up. And then I'm lowering down. Athletic form is a little bit more intense, a little bit more speed. Okay, so I want the back body, particularly the lower midsection, turning on here, guys. Some days I have you hold the posture only. Some days I have you move it. I'm just kind of giving you the option today. Can you recognize what you're doing more of and the condition of your body today, and then apply a logical, informed decision of how you're going to do it? I have to give you the opportunity to practice making an informed decision. It is not better to always push your body. It is not better to always take it easy. I'm going to give you time to do, I'm just, at beginners, like 2 rounds. When I did this Monday, I did 5 rounds. I did arms like this, 1 round. I did arms behind me, intertwined like this, where I'm rolling the shoulders back. Those are both from postural correction. I did one really strong with my arms forward. It'll be a little bit more weight. I did one where I was kind of like moving like this. So just some food for thought for your second round here. If you have back pain, you're exception to the rule, like over rounding, arching the back, over twisting, you kind of have to be a little, a little soft on the body, but still try to work it. Get into it, guys. Second round. Let's keep going. Think lengthening so much the body lifts, not necessarily just like going up and compressing, okay? If this is all too much, just do bridges. They're not the same, but they are kind of in the same realm. Bridge is going to be more butt. This is going to be more like upper, middle, lower back, and like hamstring probably. Whereas bridge is like the butt. A lot of people I tend to find when I work with people privately and I have them do this and I palpate, I feel which muscles are working. A lot of people, the butt doesn't really hit hard, right? There's not much weight. You did the straight leg extensions and the glute bridges or the glute squat. But I find that the glute doesn't really fire that well here in a lot of people. So just notice that. So I want to give you a little stretch. You came from like side planks, dolphins, high planks into this, pretty well rounded, the twisting plank, kind of all planes of movement, a lot of weight bearing and intensity. I want to give you that nice shoulder stretch. No rush getting there. It's kind of a moment of break before we take our last challenging options here. I'll demonstrate. It's this one, guys. You reach out and you roll open to the side. Whatever side your arm is out, you roll to the open to the opposite side here. Okay? I rest my head down, I adjust my head. I go back into a little bit more of a breathing meditation practice. In the sense of demanding so much of the body, you just get mindful again and connect to the subtle. If the breath got crazy, you calm it down. Mid-class meditation. Okay, and then you'll do your second side, please. Remember, a good idea to stretch your tighter side more. Remember your intention, yogis. When we're working in meditation, manifestation practice, you have these intentions, whatever it is, get a new job, new relationship, money, health. You keep this kind of new vision in your mind, right? And then you're thinking about it so clearly and focused on it that it gets emotional. So emotion is merging with thought, and that becomes like a very physical thing at that point, right? You're releasing certain chemicals in the body, and that visualization is part of this manifestation. And there's going to be a lot of things that want to distract you from that, right? And you're always trying to have a clear intention, know what you want, keep it on your mind. As you're going through practice, you're creating a lot of energy and emotion towards your vision. So if you have an intention, keeping it on your mind, and it's almost like you're working toward that. Like say you're doing your plank. Imagine the energy of plank, like creating the vision, like aiming the energy channel you're creating into the vision. The breath linked with the energy of the body is like a stream toward your vision. Okay. You keep coming back to that. If you forget, you bring it back. What's your intention? More clear picture of what you desire.
When you're done, guys, meet up in tabletop, quick child pose if you need. Let's keep going. Last standing postures. We'll meet down dog. Walk our feet to the front of our mat. Slowly stand up. Take a moment. Remember, this was first position, yogis. You keep coming back here, starting over, neutral mind. We did the goddess squats. We did the straddle. We did the forward back legs. Eagle posture today. This is a very unique posture. You just had your arm out here wide. Now they cross to the back. Okay? Inhale, chair. Right arm under left. Intertwine your forearms. This is active, yogis. Okay? Press through your palms, pull apart your elbows. Right knee lifts, cross. We haven't done this one in a little while. Couple weeks. Maybe double wrap. Right foot behind the left ankle.
A little bit more still now, working in your subtle forms of the physical body. Sitting low, pressing through your palms. It's kind of like you're squeezing everything tight in the body. Now, I do want to remind you, first in Eagle, we lean back, pull our elbows down. Lean back, shoulders over hips, over heels. As you get better at leaning back, then you start to lean forward. You'd actually lean forward over the thighs and your arms would reach forward in the bind. Notice your tendency. Work the opposite, please. Go slow. Inhale, arms and knee up. Good posture, foot down, left arm under right, chair posture. Right to second side. You guys know this pose. You don't need the cues anymore. You said a few of them. Come on now, start to apply. Start to practice being your own teacher. When you're becoming a yoga teacher, like right on the first day, you get the homework assignment like, okay, find one of your family members and teach them a yoga class. Teach them just what you know best, because you obviously love yoga. You come all the time, right? And if you're going to be a teacher, you obviously really love it. And everyone in here is capable of being a yoga teacher. And you start with like the most simple person you're comfortable around, comfortable making a mistake around. And you say, okay, teach your friend, teach your child, teach your parent a yoga class, and then get that first feedback. And a lot of times you even say, just kind of create your own practice. Someone's not comfortable with that. You say, okay, just create your own practice. And you start to apply that self-imposed knowledge and teaching and see it in real time. And that's what I'm trying to give you the opportunity to do, guys. I give you direction, more responsibility on the individual, not too much trust in the yoga instructor.
Go slow. Second position, inhale, arms up, exhale down. It's called bent knee triangle today. Leg strengthener. Now the legs spread. Right toes out, left toe, right toes out, left toes also turn right. It looks like warrior two. It looks like side angle. Arms wide, right knee bends. I do not put the hand of the elbow down. Watch. Right arm down. That's that leg with the bend. Right forearm parallel to right shin. I'm in strength, holding. My right arm presses my right knee open. My left arm reaches up. I turn up. It's strength. Press big toe and outer edge of feet down. This should be a very strengthening leg moment. You just did a legs crossed Now the legs are very wide. Work, yogis. Breathe.
Most yoga is not adequate for leg strength. You must remember that. And if you're going to try to do yoga for your leg strength, you must really push and get mentally strong in the ends of the leg holds. It is the end where you gain the most. It is also the most risky for soreness and injury. With risk comes the reward. If you don't like risk and you never go into that space, your reward will be minimal. Okay, slowly switch sides. Nice job there. We're gonna think of it like a plank. You're trying to hold for about a minute. So left knee bends open. It's warrior two legs, but it's this hinged, hold, weight-bearing form. Arms wide, left arm down, right arm up, and then that left hand reaches down and it hovers about an inch off the floor inside the left foot. Your elbow is pressing your knee open, your knee is pressing into your elbow. You're lengthening through your left side body, shoulders back and down, pulling your ribs and turning the chest up. Bent knee triangle, it's called. We're just holding the postures now. You can do like little pulses here. It's like this 1 inch lift just to make sure you're not like dumping heavy. And then you go 1 inch down. It's like this little core movement. It should be a peak leg strengthening moment, yogis. You go to where you're freaking out. Your edge, mental, emotional, physical.
Big inhale. Slowly come up. Now I just did that for like 10 seconds. It was tough. Step your feet together. Posture. A standing balance. Static pose. We don't really need to do open hip. We don't really need to do forward. I'm just going to have you a solid go in rotation. Arms up. Right knee lifts. Twist to the right. This is a posture we work towards holding an active form. We don't bind. You don't do this one. You can if you want, right? But if you always do that, this is my easiest. Middle. Full posture. I'm dropping my right hip down, turning to the right, pushing my right hip forward. So I'm not letting the hip go with the core. I'm lifting the thigh, turning, arms are wide, looking back, trying to hold position. Straighten your standing leg. Straighten your left knee here, yogis. Last couple breaths. This should be a very difficult hip flexor quad core moment. You should feel that butt on the left standing leg. Bend the knee, inhale, face forward, arms down, leg down. Tadasana. A moment in the meditation. After the strain, the craziness, you take a breath or two to regulate, to calm, to center. And then second side, left knee up, arms up. And then we turn. So if your left knee lifts, you turn to the left. You just did an open hip posture. So now we're in that closed hip, they call it some people. And then if you're feeling good, you look at your back hand, right? Try to notice back arching, try to notice spinal rounding. Good posture. Feel good, you straighten the left leg. Hold position. It's probably a tough one, guys. Now you work those subtleties, belly pulling in, straighten the legs, bottom leg straight, guys. Relax the shoulders a little bit, yogis. Last few moments. Think of it like a plank. You're trying to get into form and hold.
Big inhale, arms up, knee up. Exhale down, Tadasana. Final posture, final big pose today. We're not doing abs, boat. We're not doing bridges and wheel. We do that most days. The standing bow. Peak position, final big challenge. The back bend. We did a standing squeeze. That's a forward bend. We did a standing lateral. Adductors, lateral. You did the standing twist upright. Now it's back to the forward bend in the back bend. This is a beginner posture. Final pose today. Right hand opens up. Do not rotate the arm. Look, I just go down, I bend my left knee, I grab inside the foot. Final back bend of class today. Right heel behind, right knee in, right shoulder forward. Left arm up, palm face forward. Pull the belly and reach up. Bend your standing knee. Start to kick. Look at the foot's gonna go out. Don't do that. Drop the right hip down. The kick drives the pose. Yogi, you don't have to go deep. Stop obsessing over depth. Get into the posture. Work on being in the pose and remaining. Right hip down. The kick drives the pose, but I'm also reaching forward. I'm looking forward. Remember that bow is same world as camel. All the Chalpasanas are there. It is bridge. You know, I teach bridge style almost every day. We're gonna skip it today, and we'll do them tomorrow. In our simple, slower Sundays, okay? Slowly release, right hand down, arms down. You did this warm up, guys. It's like the shoulder prep for bow where you're like that on your chest, right? So now it's easier to go here. It's the same thing. You were here stretching on your chest. Inside grip, lateral rotation. Okay, second side. Active, linked with balance, strength, and flexibility. And endurance, right? So it's all kind of categories here. Come on, have a good one here now. If you tend to be tense, think about stretching more here. If you tend to be a little not good at engaging, you want to work on engaging. So if I was working with person A or person B, it might be the exact opposite cue, right? What category you fall into? Too much tension, too much strength, or too, intense body, or too much weakness and not good at activating. Apply the opposite of your condition. Slowly release. One more round. Go. Don't wait. Take a short breather. Final pose. We are going to do like a stretch or two, and that's it. Okay. We've been stretching all class, guys. Okay. We've been mixing in stretches all class. Think of this like a stretch. Right hand inside right foot. Outside grip is a neutral rotation in shoulder. It is more restricting. There's more room for inefficient body form. So you actually try to grab inside with the elbow crease out. It ain't this, yogis. I can't see a lot of you. That's the one that's going to be like, look at the shoulder. Watch. Not this. Look. Look at that shoulder. Like literally open and pull back. The freedom. There ain't no freedom here. Okay, slowly exit and final side here, guys. This should be a tough pose, but it's not like too strenuous as far as like weight bearing strength. It's just very complex in nature. It's like you're stretching in balance and there's a lot of activation to get it. Okay, last part here, second side, second round. funny, does this fall as a back bend? Probably, but your standing hip is flexed, weight bearing form, so there's a lot of forward bend there too, right? I would put this in back bend category because your spine arches most like you're an anterior tilt. One hip is going big extension. Most of the body's in back bend. All right, so I'll use this as back bend. So it's a good idea to kind of, hey, look at that, using grace there. So you can use your dog for a little block. All right, so we did our 4 back bends there in the end, and they were asymmetrical, but they're tough, okay? Maybe a yogi squat, maybe a touch the toes. So yogis, we stretched we did triangle, we did goddess, we did straddle. You're done with hamstrings and your thighs. We did pigeon and eagle. You're done with outer hips. We do not need to stretch those more, in my opinion. If you wanted to stretch something, it might be the quads, in case you also didn't get bow well. I like the Vera here. You're kind of sitting on your heels, leaning back, stretching kind of through here. That's probably what we're lacking, right? As far as hip stretching, meter rotation might also be lacking slightly. We got time for a stretch or two. What's pose you need? No yoga on the back today, right? I'm saving that for simple, slower Sunday tomorrow, okay? We'll do some nice bridges, light core work, nice reclining stretch tomorrow, after the big class today. So I'm just sitting, it's called reverse child pose in some circles, just like child pose where you go forward, but instead I'm going backward. Okay, so that would be called like a final front body stretch. You did enough forward bending, don't worry, okay? You're done there. Might be nice to take a seated spinal twist, yogis, something like this, because tomorrow we'll do reclining, and we tend to do reclining more often than this one. So I'd sit up and just turn here. Remember, shoulders back and down, trying to lift that heart and turn, gazing over that opposite shoulder there. You get the neck release as well. Okay, and then you'll switch sides. And I'd like you to finish up it was back bend twist, and then it's forward bend. If you want, happy baby, or just kind of sit up, legs forward, touch your toes one last time. What's one last little position you need just to kind of get ready for meditation? Usually it's not strenuous and it's symmetrical. Forward bends tend to calm your nervous system, where back bend and twist tend to kind of antagonize it a little bit, okay? So you know what to do here, yogis. You finish up your physical practice and then you set the intention to go to close it all out with the subtle body, the meditation. This is important, yogis, right? What do they call it in the modern neuropsychology meditation? It's alpha brain. Alpha brain, if you're watching, I had to study these brain activity charts, and you notice when people are going in and out of certain states, you're in the beta brain, you can see it. It's like these kind of big waves, and then the brain starts to kind of calm and slow a little, and they call it this alpha brain. You're not you're in what's the word they use? You go into this trance, non-busy mind. You're not quite daydreaming yet, but they call that the theta brain, where you're kind of really in these different states. You kind of forget where you are. You forget that you're meditating. Alpha brain is this very calm trance-like state you're working to get better at going into. What do they say happens there? Heightened creativity, what happens is your prefrontal lobes really hit. The frontal lobes are like the crown jewel of the brain, the intelligent brain center. They connect to every single brain center. It's some people call it the human brain because we have that big part of us there. And you're trying to like set beta brain is exercise brain. You don't go into alpha brain really in a lot of this exercise. So it's a shift to a certain brain state, heightened immune function, heightened intelligence, a lot of different cool things. It's been shown that alpha brain stimulation can lower like depression and other kind of mental things going on. So we're working on attaining this kind of very calm. It's right before sleep. That's how you know it. Every night before you go to sleep, you pass through alpha. It's like you're like half asleep, not quite asleep, but you're like in this very interesting mental space. So we're working on attaining that here in the end of every yoga class. I could say you're trying to go to sleep, but really holding right before. All right. So let's do our closing meditation, yogis. I'd like you to try to stay here if you can, 5, 10, 15 minutes. Come on. Do this subtle body work now. This is really important. Think about conditioning, aligning the body, and now we're conditioning, aligning the mind, the thoughts, and the emotions. I will leave you here, yogis. You guys know I have another 2 classes I got to get to. Do this on your own. I'll see you tomorrow, 7:45. We'll do a nice strap stretching tomorrow morning with some foundational, a little bit slower, easier, therapeutic, but still some strength class, okay? Good job today, yogis. Tough class. Have a good weekend if I don't see you. Namaste.